Alright guys, Charlie with you here. It's the day of the Elddises today. We've got your 120 going out and the 115 going out later the same day. So we parked them both up. Just doing the handover video for you guys now. So when you come, you will get a full demonstration. So don't worry about any of that. This is just here to give you that little bit extra to go away with to help to remind you on some certain points. So straight away, to get underneath the bonnet, we go in the passenger door. We lift this catch just here and that's going to get us underneath the bonnet. Your seat adjustments wise, this one will raise the front end, this one will raise the rear, and this one will adjust the steepness of the chair behind you. In behind the fuel, it's the diesel. So to get the diesel out, you want to use your driver ignition key, just like so. Place it in, spin it left, release it out, put it back in, spin the key right, and that's it to get into your diesel. Underneath the bonnet, we do have things under here like your screen wash, which if you go to the right hand side of your Peugeot badge, in line with the right leg, the lever is just there. We've got the chassis plate from the Elddis when it came from factory. Underneath that little clip there, where you see the plus logo, that is your positive terminal. So when it comes to charging the vehicle battery or jump starting it, you need to put your positive on the metal bar under that cap there, and your negative on the earth lug, which is located in the center of the bonnet just there. Over to the left, you've got your steering fluid, your coolant fluid, and then you've got your windscreen wash up, which is filled from the far left-hand side. To top up your oil, you want to use that cap there, and to check your oil levels, you can use the dipstick just there. So then coming round to the outside of the vehicle, we've already obviously gone over the bonnet, the diesel, the seat adjustments in the cab, how to get underneath the bonnet as well, so we can close that side up. I've got the door open to keep it cool, as you're going to be with us in about 30 minutes. It just gets hot quick in these motorhomes. So we'll close that up, and then behind the habitation door, just here, you've got your external plug-in. Now, this will only be operational when we've got the hookup lead in, as you can probably imagine. Next to that, you push your finger in the square to release these and get them open, and then you've got your barbecue point. So this is attached gas-wise to the 2 gas bottles that you put in the vehicle, or 1 gas bottle, whatever you choose. So this will be being supplied from your gas bottles, but it then means you can put a Caddock barbecue here. We don't have to bring a separate gas bottle. We can utilise the ones on the motorhome. At the back of the vehicle, if we get out this key just here, come on, this one that says try mark on it, you put it into the barrel, turn left, drop the door down. Behind here, you've got your leisure battery and your hookup plug-in with the cable recess. So you run the cable through there, nice and accessible if you ever need to change it. And then we can close this locker and lock it up so it's waterproof and fully water resistant in the rain. Round the back, you've got your bike rack, which is quite self-explanatory. This here is the vent for your heater and boiler. So at the minute, I've got your hot water running on gas and electric. So this, at the minute, has got some heat coming out of it because this is the exhaust for when we're using gas on the boiler or the heater. Now, I'm going to go around the other side. I don't think I'm going to fit through that gap. So coming down the driver's side of the vehicle now, we're going to notice a couple of different things. So we'll start at the back. You've got your fresh water fill up, which I believe to be this key with the notch taken out the side. This is where I'm completely wrong. Yep, absolutely. We'll go for the other key with no notch taken out the side, and there we go. And that's how we unlock and lock it. The reason it's lockable is if we're wild camping, we don't want anyone to put anything in our fresh water or take any. But it is going to be filled up with an usual hose pipe straight into there. And then on the inside, we can watch on the control panel to check the water levels to make sure we're not overflowing the tank. Even though if you do overflow it, like a bathtub, it's got a natural overflow. So if you do forget, it's just going to run out underneath the vehicle. Now, you fill your fresh water up here, and to drain it off, we do that here with this tap. This is the exhaust system for your heater, which again, it's got a little bit of heat coming out of it because I've got it running on gas. So when you're finished using the motorhome, every single time, we should be draining all the fresh water off of it so we don't have stagnant water sat in the tanks, doing 2 things. 1, going stagnant and smelling bad, and 2, evaporating, leaving calcium and salt deposits in your tank and on your water readers. So when we're done with the motorhome, drain your fresh water off, and then come here and drain off your wastewater as well. Above your wastewater drain off tap is your gas locker. So if we open that up, in here we've got the test bottle at the moment, which is our bottle we use to show you everything working. So if this was your gas bottle, this would have to be strapped in at all times when traveling. If you're not traveling, it doesn't have to be, but obviously there's no point unstrapping it for no reason to restrap it when you travel again. So always strapped in. If we're traveling, always turned off. But when you get to campsite, after you plug the vehicle in, we need to come in here and turn this brass fitting left. That's going to allow gas to come out of the bottle, through the hose, through the gas regulator, and into the motorhome. It does take 2 6-kilo bottles, so we can travel for longer without stopping for gas. And then at the front, we've got the toilet cassette. If I bob this door down, this is your cassette. To remove it, we get this orange lever and we lift and then pull. Then the handle's exposed, so we can grab that, walk over to the designated area, twist this round, take your cap off, and quite literally pour everything out. Once you're done, you use your cap. It's got numbers on it for millilitres as a measuring beaker. And then what we do, if you're a bit like me, I'm a bit lazy, you're meant to tip it down this tube, but I just pull this back, twist this open, and I pour a bit of blue straight in. There is some blues in there to keep it smelling fresh for the time being, and so that it's ready for your first journey. Putting it back, we roll it in, and then we wait for that orange clip to sit behind there. And that's your toilet cassette, emptied, changed, added with blues, and refitted. Going on to the inside of the vehicle, make sure that's in the door, retainer clip. Stepping inside, I'll stick the keys on the passenger seat for now. We've got the control panel. So, when we come into the vehicle, you'll notice now none of this is on, all off. So to turn your heating hot water on, we first need to turn the master on, which is going to supply this with power. Then if you want your lights on, turn your light switch, which just does that one behind you. Thought it was going to do the rest of them, but it doesn't. This here at the top is going to show you your leisure battery voltage constantly. So it's sitting at 13.5 volts. When you're filling up your water outside, to check on your water levels, you just want to push this rocker switch down. And you see now we're using the blue gauge underneath. So we've got a quarter of a tank of water in. The minute I let go, it goes back to your leisure battery levels on your volts at the top at 13.5. So as we're filling up with water, keep checking this until full, then turn your tap off. Once you know you've got water in the vehicle, which we can do by clicking that button, I know it's now safe to turn on the water pump. Never turn your water pump on if you haven't got water in the system. This here is just a switch for the awning light that's outside the vehicle. So you've got your master, which turns everything on, your light switch turn the light on behind me, water to check your water levels, pump switch to turn the pump on, and awning switch to turn the light on outside the motorhome. Below that, we've got the heating and hot water. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 buttons. Now for the boiler is the top one, because it's got the tap on there, your hot water. All we need to do is pick a power supply. So we want it on gas with 1 kilowatt of electric, gas with 2 kilowatts of electric, off, 1 kilowatt of electric on its own, 2 kilowatts of electric on its own, or gas on its own. So if you're wild camping, you want it on just that flame there. If you're on a campsite, you want it on 1 or 2, depending on how powerful the plug-in is you've got. And if you're on a campsite and it's freezing outside, you want it on gas and 2, which is going to equate to 5 kilowatts of power. Below that, so before I move on, sorry, once I've now selected this, regardless, this water system is going to supply us with 65 degrees hot water. All you've got to choose is how you want it delivering. Do you want it on gas and electric, electric on its own, or gas on its own? Then we've got the heating, which is the same process. We need to choose the power supply first by clicking this button. So gas and 2 kilowatt, the same as above. 1 kilowatt, 2 kilowatt, but this one has a 3 kilowatt option for the heating. So that's the only difference. Then you get gas on the own and gas and 2 kilowatts. Then, once we've chosen the power supply, gas and electric, we then need to say, right, well, what temperature do you want it on the air? So up at the top here, 30 degrees. Right down here, 19 degrees. The moon is 18 degrees and it's night mode. So 18 degrees night mode basically slows down the fans, makes it much quieter so you get a better night's sleep. And then the frost protect just there is there. So if you was out using the vehicle in winter and then you went out for the day so you don't need the heating on, rather than turning it off altogether and letting the heating element go really cold just to warm it up red hot later, it keeps it at a medium temperature. So as soon as you get back in the vehicle and you want heat again, it's already half warmed up, which is going to do 2 things: get your heating warmer quicker and prolong the life of the heater element. Obviously today it's hot enough that no matter what temperature I put this on, it's warmer in this motorhome, so it's not going to come on whatsoever. I've already ran up the boiler this morning, so I know the water's nice and hot already, but when your gas lights, you get a little green flame over here to let you know it's lit on gas. If it's not lit on gas, it's because it's reached temperature and it's just sat on idle at the moment. But yeah, that's all on and ready to go. I'm just going to turn this off to make sure it doesn't come on. When you turn your boiler on, what I then need you to do is come to your tap and run the hot side until you get a constant flow of water just like this. Because if you come to the motorhome for the first time, that's going to be full of air all the way back to the tank. So we need to open the tap up to let the water flow through to prime the boiler and prime all the taps and hoses. And then what you can hear now, hopefully, is the pump running and filling the boiler. Now we know the pump's off, we know the boiler's completely full because we've got a solid flow of water coming out the hot tap on that side. If you just came and turned this on, filled your water up, let's say outside with the hose, and just turned that on and didn't run your taps, you've not pulled any of that water from your fresh water tank into your boiler to warm up, so it's just going to warm up hot air. So we have to run the hot tap and prime the system to make sure we've got that constant flow of water so we know the boiler's full. Your fridge is a three-way fridge, so it works on gas, electric and battery, as you can see. This is your gas reader. So at the minute we're on hookup, so that it's not lit. When that orange goes into the green, we know it's lit. So hookup will reduce the temperature of your fridge. Gas will reduce the temperature of your fridge. Battery will only ever maintain the temperature of that fridge. So essentially, what you need to do, say if you was going away at 12 midday, you want to get at this vehicle and you drive at about 11 o'clock. At 11 o'clock, turn it on to either hookup or gas. And to turn it on to gas, we want that dial, that's your temperature dial, round to the cold as you can be. You want to push your dial in and your igniter. So we are on a bit of a hill at the moment, so whether this will light or not is going to be a bit of a question. I think it will. So let's have a look. Is it creep? Yeah, it's slowly creeping. Ideally, obviously you need to be on a flat surface. We don't quite have that luxury here, unfortunately. Once it's into the green, I can then let go of the igniter and the gas over here, and it will stay in the green. So now we know the fridge is lit on gas. Now the reason the battery doesn't reduce the temperature of the fridge is because it would simply take too much power and flatten your battery. So you're meant to get it nice and cold with these two and simply flick it to that whenever you're going to drive anywhere and you want to keep your fridge nice and cold. And you'll notice now, when I turn this to electric, the needle will drop straight out the green, back into the white to say the gas is off. Behind here is a AA battery. So you put the flat-headed screwdriver in the horizontal section, push in, twist, and it will eject. I ain't quite got the nails for the job. I haven't quite got the nails for it, so I'll get a screwdriver and turn that back. I've half twisted it, but I can't get it all the way. But yeah, so that'll spring out basically. We're almost back to circle. There we go, back to flush. That then springs out and there's a AA battery in it. If your igniter stops working, so if you tip that and it's not making any noise, we need to get a new battery. This is exactly what you know. So shared igniter for the oven and the grill and the hobs. So if I turn to the left and click igniter, it's going to ignite the oven at the back. And then if I turn to the right and ignite, it's going to do the grill at the top. If I then come to the hobs, I can't do that because I simply don't have the hands, but you use that igniter, as you can hear, for those hobs. Your microwave, to wake up, eco. Click eco. Make sure it's on before you do this. There we go, that might help, Charlie. Click eco and it's on. This is stop, this is start, and you can keep adding 30 seconds with this button here. Stop and clear with that button there back to 0, or you can click your minutes and seconds. Your skylight, you pull the handle down and slide like so, and then lift up, and then it engages on the teeth. In your wardrobe, you've got your TV aerial. So to get the best picture, spin that loose, push this up, and tune your telly in. Behind there is your solar controller. You do not need to touch that. That is charging your leisure battery as you speak. You just leave that to do its thing. Your new carpets are in here, finished in a nice beigey brown with the nice whipped edges. Underneath the sofa at the back, you've got your fresh water tank. So you need access to this fresh water tank for cleaning purposes, which is why it's got a screw top on it, so we can access that. On the opposing side, you've got this section here, which is all for storage, apart from at this top end where you see that yellow lever there. That is your boiler drain valve. So to open it, we simply go like that. To close it, we go like that. Now the reason we can open and close the boiler drain valve is because, again, when we're done using this vehicle, we need to drain all the water off of it to make sure we're not having any stagnant water sat in the motorhome. So when you're done with the motorhome, go under there. Make sure your control panel's completely off so your pump isn't on. shut all the vehicle down as if you're ready to travel. Go underneath there as your last job, open that tap up, go outside, twist your grey tap, and then you want to twist the blue tap as well that's down at the back outside too. That's going to drain every ounce of water off of this motorhome before you've even set off home. So when you get home, it can either go straight into storage or straight on the drive, unload it, and it's packed away ready for next time. In your washroom, you've obviously got your basin unit with hot and cold feed. You've got your shower to the right, which works off this tap just here. And your toilet is just round this side. It's a swivel toilet, so you can face it this way for more leg room. If I lift this up, you click the blue button to flush. This light will come on when the cassette's ready and to be changed. And to empty, we move that grey lever around there and push it back. And now you'll see everything's now gone out the toilet into that cassette below. So that's a toilet. I think that's about it, guys. That's about it. Obviously, the other bits are like extendable worktops, making the bed up, which I can show you when you're here. But going through the cupboards, you've got your radio, which you already know. I think you taught me this. You can isolate it from the back, turn your radio off and on just there. And then obviously you go to your radio and you can tune it in and it'll come through the speaker system. There's nothing in these back cupboards worth mentioning. There we go. And we know the microwave isolator is in that kitchen cupboard just there. But I hope you enjoyed the motorhome, guys, and I hope you find the video informative.